to record now. So if you missed anything from the beginning, it's going to pick up from here. I'm so sorry. I thought I had hit it. For I, and then I'll take questions through I, we have the binomial squared. So it's the binomial times itself. This is not a difference of squares because the two binomials are the same, but the sign in between is both positive. So again, please keep that in mind. So we're going to have 7 times 7 for 49n squared plus 28 plus another 28n plus 16. Again, my middle terms will combine to a 56n, and there is my final answer. So let me just scroll up. Are there any questions on those 5 problems before we wrap up? Maria?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask for Jay. You said in the previous class that we need to align
standard
them from,
form?
yeah.
Okay, so in theory, it is appropriate to write in standard form. You're not wrong if you don't write it in standard form. That would come more in a college algebra class. But if you write this answer, remember that an exam will be multiple choice. So you would just have to match it to what I wrote underneath. Okay, so you're
Okay.
not going to see both of these answers on an exam.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else before I finish up? Okay, now the last 3, or the last 4, but the last 3 before the last one are where we have the binomial times the trinomial. And again, we are going to just distribute. So 4b and 16b squared is 64b cubed minus 32b squared plus 16b. So that's the first distribution. Then we have a 32b squared. And last class, I told you it's a nice idea to maybe line these up. Minus 16b, again, I'm lining up, and plus 8. Now, interestingly enough, these cancel because they are a negative and a positive of the same term. These cancel, so you are left with the following. And that can happen. Every situation is different. So as long as you're careful and your signs are correct, you should be in good shape. I gave you one there that it doesn't cancel now. So 5a and a squared is 5a cubed minus 10a squared plus 30a. That's the first distribution. Plus a squared, so again, lining up those like terms. Minus 2a, so again, same deal. Plus 6, and again, because these don't cancel, you can see it's very easy to combine your terms. 5a cubed minus 9a squared plus 28a, and then plus 6. And as I mentioned last class, M and N are very are often asked on a final, a question like that. Let me finish with O and P, and then I'll take any further questions on lesson 3. So for O, I mentioned on Monday that it does not matter the order in which you multiply these. I like to multiply the last 2 binomials because then I can distribute the first. So when we multiply the last 2 binomials, I get 6a squared plus 3a minus 4a minus 2. So that combines to a 6a squared minus a minus 2, which I'm right here. And then I bring down that a plus 2 that I didn't use, and I will distribute from there. 6a cubed minus a squared minus 2a, so that's the first line that you see right here, plus 12a squared minus 2a minus 4. So again, when I combine my terms, I get 6a cubed plus 11a squared minus 4a minus 4. The last one, I didn't necessarily do a question like this in class, but I'm sure you should have been able to figure it out. So we would distribute the 2x into the binomial, giving us 6x squared minus 10x, and then negative 4x into the second, giving us positive 8x squared, and minus 28x. Combining the like terms of the 6x squared and the 8x squared, we get 14, and then minus 38. So that concludes homework 3. I'll open up for any questions now if anyone has. And if not, we're going to start with homework 4, which is the division homework. So last call before I begin. Sabrina?
Yes, I have a question. Sorry.
Don't say sorry, guys. Don't apologize. It's okay.
Okay. So the exam is on April 5th, which is a Monday, right?
Yes. Can I talk about the exam if you don't mind after I do the homework? And then let me just go. Is that okay with you?
No problem.
Okay, thank you, Sabrina. Only because I just want to finish with homework. Then I was going to talk about review, and then I was just going to get lesson 5 going. So if you don't mind, I really appreciate it, just because then I will have everyone's attention to really break down the rules. So thank you so much, Sabrina. Okay, homework number 4. I'm not going to have a lot of space. So on my phone, I'm just going to take pictures of my questions so I can write them down after. But I know you guys had some issues. I did actually add another question to homework 4. Hopefully by tonight, oh, that's blurry. It's okay. Hopefully by tonight, this will be a little bit easier for you guys. And I'll go nice and slow with the long division so nobody feels overwhelmed. So let me go over A, B, and C. Let me go over A through F, and then I'll take questions, and then we're going to get into the long division. Now, guys, just to make this clear, unless you are dividing by 2 terms like in G and the rest, you will just divide straight up and down. That changes in D, E, and F because in D, E, and F, you have to separate and then divide. So again, I'll go over this. We divide our coefficients and then we subtract our exponents. 8x to the first, which would just be 8x. And again, I'll pause after F for this. For letter B, you're going to have 6x to the 13, y to the 3. And I'm just going to remind you, as we discussed last week and on Monday, that we don't want to have any negative exponents. I couldn't think of what I wanted to say. With letter C, we have negative 32 and 40. Now that doesn't divide evenly, but there is this GCF of 8. Now I'm going to bring up GCF quite extensively in our next unit. GCF is what we call the greatest common factor. It is the largest number that is evenly divisible into all of our numbers. So in the case of 32 and 40, 8 is the largest that goes into both. I'm going to be honest, reducing fractions is something you guys should already know, but we're going to discuss it as well in a lot of depth coming up. A to the 3 and A to the 2 is A to the 1, and B to the 4, so check this out. B to the 4 minus 7 is B to the negative 3 because we always subtract from top to bottom. But again, the directions will normally say, I know I didn't put directions here, no negative exponents. So we are going to flip that B into our denominator. Remember, that's the rule. And then it becomes positive. So remember that whatever we have in the numerator will flip into the denominator and become positive. And if we have a negative in the denominator, it will flip into the numerator. For D, E, and F, you now don't have a single term in the top, but you have multiple. So the suggestion here is to, again, divide everything separately by doing this separation. So we have negative 6a plus 2 as our solution for D. For E, we have, let me just set it up. It takes a minute, so I do apologize. Just bear with me. Sorry. Okay, so we have 7x to the 2 minus 4x plus 5. So again, I like the separation because then you can kind of just work straight down. And then we have 9a to the 4, b to the 13 over negative 6a to the 4, b to the 3. Again, I'm just going to be really cautious about my signs in this question. So I'm going to say, okay, I have a negative or a positive. And then what am I dividing by? And it's obviously a negative in each case. So I'll go a little slower here. The 9 and the 6 will not divide evenly, but they do reduce to a negative 3 over 2. I'm going to have to write that over here because of space. The a to the 4s cancel, and I'm left with b to the 10. So again, the GCF of 9 and 6 is going to be 3. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 24 and 6 do divide evenly. 24 divided by 6 would be -4 because of the positive over the negative. A to the fourth and b when we subtract. And then 30 and 6 are divisible and the two negatives become a positive. A to the second, b to the fourth power. So again, that's -3/2, b to the 10 minus 4a to the 4b plus 5a squared b to the fourth. So before I start the long division, Maria?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, we do not deduct or add further than this.
There's nothing more to do because we've completely divided and none of our terms will combine. They're not like terms.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, guys, because of space, I'm gonna do all these problems on the bottom. My picture didn't come out very clear. So I just want to have a clear picture for my notes. So we're gonna start with x to the 6 plus x minus 6 divided by x plus 3 down here. It was x plus 3 and it was g. So let me just do this. Okay, and here we go, rock and roll. X squared plus x minus 6. Okay, first thing we check for is that there are no missing terms. I go from 2 to 1 to the constant, so I'm good to go. I'm going to use the first term of my divisor and the first term of the dividend, and I get x. X goes up here. The next step is to multiply. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. I negate by changing the sign. So if it's negative, it becomes positive. And if it's positive, it becomes negative. These cancel. -1. So this is a 1x. So 1x minus 3x is -2x. I bring down my -6. Now, the whole process repeats again until I have nothing left to bring down. So -2x divided by x is -2. -2 times x is -2x. -2 times 3 is -6. Negate, negate. Everything cancels and I'm left with a remainder of 0. So my final answer is x minus 2 with no remainder. And if there's no remainder, we just leave it alone. Guys, I'd like to do, by the way, just 2 questions at a time, just so I can keep the flow going. So let me do, actually, let's do 3 at a time. Let me do G, H, and I, and then I'll open up for questions. So H says x minus 2 is the divisor. X squared plus 8x minus 20 on the inside. So again, I'm going to ensure that I don't have any missing terms. I go from 2 to 1 to the constant, so I'm good. Let's go different color here. So x squared divided by x, again, is just going to be x. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is -2x. Negate, negate. These cancel, 10x, and I bring down my -20. By the way, in my head, and when I teach this, even in M1, I tell people the same thing. If you know that that was the bring down that's your only bring down or your last bring down, you know this will be your last round. 10x divided by 10, x, excuse me, is 10. 10 times x and 10 times -2 is 10x minus 20. And again, those are both the same. So my answer is x plus 10 with no remainder. Finally, I, and then I'll pause to let you guys catch up and whatnot. So x plus 5 goes on the outside. 3x squared plus 2x plus 1 goes on the inside. Again, this is considered the appropriate form, and then we go from 2 to 1 to nothing. So 3x squared divided by x would occur first. We're left with 3x. That goes on top. 3x times x is 3x squared. So you notice that if those terms are the same, you're doing this right. 3x times 5 is going to be 15x. Subtract, subtract. And I'm left with these canceling, -13x. And again, that's my only bring down. So I know this will be my last round. Negative 13x divided by x would be negative 13. So again, we can throw that on top. Negative 13 times x and negative 13 times 5, which is negative 65. Negate, negate. 66 is my remainder. By the way, I'm pretty much sure that you guys would see your remainder written with an R, but I did mention, I don't remember if I've seen this on the final, but I just like to prepare for everything, that you can write the remainder, sorry about my emails popping up, over the original divisor. But I'm gonna say this is what you guys, I know on my exam, if there is a remainder, it will be like that. Okay, so at this point, I'm gonna pause for a moment, A, to just kind of catch my breath, and then B, if any of you guys have any questions, and then we'll do the next three if not. So take like a few seconds, let me know. Yes, Maria?
So when we are, this is the only thing that I'm confused with. When we are doing the long division,
Mhm.
the X on the top in the H, for example,
Yeah,
so the plus that comes in, that's from the inside of the division, right?
and this plus,
Yes.
that's because 10x divided by x is positive 10.
If it was negative, it would be
And you would write
minus.
minus. So if it was negative 10x, let's say, then you would write negative 10 on the top. So
Okay.
I'm just including the sign there. That's all that's happening.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Anyone else before I continue? I'm just going to start J up. Okay, so J is the last one that does not have a missing term. Oh, actually K2, but doesn't matter. So let me get started with J. So same deal. We are going to have 4x squared divided by 4x, which is going to be x. That goes on top. I should have changed the color. Let me do that now to differentiate. X times 4x and x times 3. Negate, negate. So I'm left with a minus 12x plus 2. So now I'm going to do negative 12x, and Maria, this is the question you were just asking, divided by 4x, which is negative 3. If it was positive 3, I would put a plus on top, but because it is negative 3, I put a minus. So that's where that sign comes in as a clarifying statement. This would become a minus 9. And so my final answer after I negate becomes 11. And so my answer is x minus 3 with a remainder of 11. Okay, so pretty straightforward question, I believe. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my phone for the camera. K is m minus 2. I know these were very lengthy homeworks, and I'm sorry that you got piled on, but I'm really thinking that this is going a lot better. So I'm going to go with it's a positive thing. I try to take negatives and turn them into positives. No math joke intended there, by the way. And if you're laughing, don't laugh at me, laugh with me. 8m, when we divide 8m squared by m, 8m times m, and then 8m times negative 2. Negate, negate. So I'm left with 14m minus 5. And again, that is my only and last bring down. 14m. So I like this circling because then I know if I kind of miss something. So I always do this even when I do this for myself. Plus 14. 14 times m would be 14m. So again, those terms should line up. Then you know you did it right. And then 14, it's kind of like a fail-proof method, guys. Because if those terms are the same, then you're in good shape. And after I negate, I get a 23. So 8m plus 14, remainder 23. Okay, so now I'm going to get to L. And what I hoped you learned about with L is that you had a y minus 3, but then you had a y squared plus 5. Now, the problem is that when you have y squared plus 5, you are missing the y to the 1 term or the y term. So you're going to use 0y as a placeholder. Okay, and so I'm going to fix this and I'm going to make it 0y plus 5. Now, why do we put a plus rather than a minus 0? Because who the heck wants to look at a whatchamacallit, a negative when we can look at a positive? So again, please be mindful of that. Y squared divided by y is y. Y times y. Y times -3. Negate, negate. Now, these cancel the y squareds, but now look what happens. Now my 3y is right above the 0y, and all of my terms are lined up. So if you forget to put the missing terms, is it a big deal? No. But if there are missing terms, like more than one, then that can potentially be an issue. 3y divided by y is going to be 3. 3 times y, and 3 times -3 is -9. Negate, negate. 14 is my remainder. So y plus 3, remainder 14. I'm just going to scroll up for 1 minute. I'm not rushing you away from the notes. I just, I got, my last two didn't come out in my picture. So let me go back down here. So guys, if it's cool with you, let me finish with the last two, and then I'll take any further questions you guys have. And then we're going to review for your exam. By the way, N was not part of your homework. I threw it on there. So what I'm going to do is I'll ask you guys wait on N, and I'll give you guys a little bit of time. And then while you guys are working on N, I can answer people's questions. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put divided by. I'm so silly. Okay. So it was x fourth plus 301 divided by, let me look that up. It's in my notes. So I have to give you something. Clearly, I didn't write the second part. So lucky me. Okay. If you notice in M, the X term again was missing. So I put a 0x as a placeholder. So this is x squared divided by x again. X times x and x times 6. Negate, negate. So I have -6x minus 11. -6x divided by x is -6, so that -6 goes on top. When I distribute, I get -6x minus 36, negate, negate. 25 would be my remainder. X minus 6, remainder 25. I just have to look on my computer for a quick note. So if you guys can just bear with me for 1 minute, I'm just going to look in my file. I forgot what I made this problem, and I don't want to give you something that doesn't work. So just bear with me for a moment, and then I will give you something nice to try. Oops, sorry, hold on. Let me just see. I think it was x plus 2, but let me just see in my notes. It is x plus 2. Okay. Yes, it's x plus 2. So while you guys are working on this, I'm going to ask you to let me know if there are any questions. That way people aren't just sitting around. Not that any of you guys are, but if anyone has any particular questions about anything that I've said so far, that would be great. I'm going to talk about your exam. We're going to do the review, and then we'll do the remaining time will be spent on whatever I can with lesson 5. And I apologize if that's a little annoying, but I don't want to waste any time. So it's 8:42. At 8:45, I'm going to go over this problem.
I have a question.
Sure.
I think I missed when you explained when you do the 0.
Okay,
When you put
so anytime, remember that the standard form of a polynomial is I'm going to make one up, okay? So x to the 3rd plus x to the 2 plus x to the 1 plus some constant. When I say constant, I mean a number, right? So because of the fact, because of the fact that I have x to the 3, x to the 2, x to the 1, and the constant, every term is accounted for. Now let's imagine I have this. Well, right now the x squared term is missing. So I would put a 0x squared to be my placeholder. So as you decrease in your exponents, any terms that are missing, you would put a 0 for. So in N, you should notice that you're missing maybe more than one term. So you would put the terms that are missing. So start from 4 and ask yourselves, what exponents down to the constant am I missing? And you will put placeholders for those. Did I answer that?
I'm sorry, I actually got kicked out. and
I
then
know you
came
did.
back.
I was just saying that you're just going from the highest exponent
Right.
down to the constant, and any, any exponents that are missing, you're going to use a 0 as a placeholder.
Right, so again, if it's x squared, then that's fine, but if it's like y to the third, then you have to add a 0, right?
So y to the third plus y plus 5. Now I'm missing my y squared term.
Okay,
So
right,
I would put a 0y squared.
okay.
But now check this out. If I had this, now
Uh-huh.
I'm missing my y term, right?
Yeah, okay,
So I
I
would
get
put
it.
a 0y.
Okay,
So you just want to make sure that every exponent is accounted for, starting from whatever the first one is. So in this case, it's 4 in our next problem, down to the constant, which is the number by itself.
right.
Okay?
I'll watch you do the other ones. and
Yeah,
I'll
this one I'll make sure I make sense on that. So,
Okay,
all right?
thank you. Mhm.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay, so for the next problem, I'm starting with the highest exponent of x to the 4. So the next exponent that I should see is 3, but I'm missing the 3. So I'm going to put a 0x cubed because I'm missing. The next exponent I should see is a 2, but I don't see it. Then I should see a 1, and then I get to my constant. So that would be the setup for this problem. And these placeholders are merely so that everything lines up correctly. So let's proceed. X to the 4 divided by x is x to the third. Sorry, let me just take this off. X to the third. I line that up with that term because now everything will come down nicely. X to the 4th plus 2x squared, plus 2x cubed, excuse me. I negate, so those cancel, which is what I want. I negate, and I'm left with negative 2x cubed, and I'm going to bring down the 0x squared. Now remember, you are only allowed to bring down one term at a time, no more, no less. So one term at a time. Negative 2x cubed divided by x is negative 2x squared. Sorry, I just like to get rid of those arrows. Distributing, I get negative 2x cubed, sorry, minus 4x squared. And look how nicely everything lines up. I'm going to negate, so those terms cancel, which is what I want to happen. I get 4x squared, and I'm going to bring down the 0x, one term at a time. Erasing my arrows, 4x squared divided by x is going to be 4x. 4x times x is 4x squared. 4x times 2 is 8x. Negate, negate. Those terms cancel. And now this is my last bring down. So I know that I'm almost done at this point. Negative 8x divided by x is negative 8. Negative 8 times x is negative 8x. Negative 8 times 2 is negative 16. Negate, negate. The 8x's are gone, and I'm left with positive 317, which is my remainder. So my final answer is the following. Yes, is this a rough question? Okay, maybe. But again, it's just more steps than what you guys have seen before. Okay, so I'll pause for any questions. We're going to talk about the exam and the review in a moment. Sorry, I'm just, okay. So please let me know, and then I'll close this. And by the way, you guys know that I will upload this for you. Maria?
You just actually answered my question.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
upload everything. If I don't do it this evening, I usually do it in the morning. By the way, the YouTube page that I posted for you guys also has the lectures uploaded. For some reason, the first one didn't show because I had made it not public, but now it is good. So please feel free to use those again as well. So let me talk about your exam, and then we'll get into the review. Your exam was supposed to be tonight, but because I canceled last week, very last minute, your exam I pushed till the Monday after break. And I apologize, but this at least gives you some time to study as well. The exam is going to cover, I'm going to erase this after. So if you want, you know what, let me just open a new note here. The exam is going to cover lessons 1 through 4, which is what I just finished with you. The review is a good indication of what to expect, but I'm going to also very firmly say that it's always a good idea to go through all of the notes again. I don't delete anything from my Blackboard page, so you guys have access to a blank page of the notes, the answer keys. I do upload all the work from the notes, all of the homeworks, the homework answer keys, the lectures, everything is there for you. So please use it to your advantage. Sit down and listen to my annoying voice again if you want. Anything that's going to help you guys. Now, the exam itself, I'm going to just check on what time I made it available because I had to change the date. So I'm going to tell you right now, and I did this last semester, and people in my class last semester, I did this and they sort of like this. So just bear with me for 1 minute and I will tell you about this, but let me explain the exam. So this is April 5th, which is Monday. It's going to be available for 1 hour and 15 minutes. Now, let me explain why I'm giving that time. Your final exam is 40 multiple choice questions. You will have 2 hours to complete the final. So if the final exam is 2 hours, we're all math people in here, and it's 40 questions, that means that you are going to work at a rate of 3 minutes per question. When the 2 hours is over, you are going to then be timed out. Your exam is going to submit. My exam for you guys is 25 multiple choice, which is 3 times 3 is 75 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes. Okay, so please understand that you should be working at a rate of 3 minutes per question. Now, I have made the exam available from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Monday evening. I did this as a way, now this will not happen for your final, so I'm going to make that very clear. And these lectures are now recorded, so nobody can tell me I said something else. I don't mean to sound so, brass here, but I just have to be, firm. You can take this exam from any time between 7 and 11 p.m. However, if you start the exam after 10, I'm going to tell you that I'm not going to be available if you have any issues. Once you open my exam, the timer will begin. So it's not like you can start at 7 and then open it back up at 9, and that's because of fairness. So you will have the 75 minutes or the hour and 15 minutes that will start when you begin your exam. So think strategically about childcare, whatever you have going on. And I do this because I know you guys are at home. Now, this courtesy will not be extended for the final, but for me, I will do this for my in-class exams. So I'm letting you guys know that. Let me say some more things about the test, then I'll take any questions, and then we can begin. Now, in the past, we started remotely in Kingsborough last spring. If you were in Kingsborough last spring, you know this. I taught last spring, I taught this past fall, and now I'm teaching again this spring. I taught R3, M100, and then R3 again this term. So what I'm trying to get at right now is the math department made it their policy for any work to be uploaded for the final exam within 45 minutes of exam completion. Okay, so the math department made this policy. I reiterated this policy all last spring. I didn't make people do it on my exams, and then people thought like this was the first time I said it, which it wasn't by the time they got to the final. So for the fall and for this semester, I've made it my policy that work has to be submitted for your exams. Now, you have to submit your work for me to count your exam, But I'm going to let you know right now, more importantly, if you do not submit for work for the final, you will automatically receive a grade of repeat in this class. The work will be time-stamped. So what that means is if you end your exam at 7:30 p.m., let's say 8 p.m., by 8:45, your work has to be uploaded, okay? Now, I'm going to share my screen from my laptop because I want to show I'm having a lot of you guys having issues uploading your work. And to be honest with you, I walked through this the first night. So I'm going to just really be very clear about uploading work. I just don't want anyone to see anyone's grades, which is why I have not shared with you yet. I last semester decided to let people email me their work. And then this is what happens. They don't give me a lot of room on my email. So my email completely filled up. And also I was then getting multiple emails at once and it was very hard to keep track. So this semester I'm doing something different. Just like your homework that you guys upload to Blackboard, I'm going to say again, I do not accept emailed homework in this class. You're going to go to course content. Okay. I don't want to click it again only because people's grades show up. So I don't want to show anyone's grades. You're then going to click on test one work. This is the same thing you would do for your homework. If you do your work on loose leaf paper, you will take pictures of the work and save it somewhere on your phone or your computer. So I would call it homework 3, page 1, homework 3, page 2, test work page 1, test work page 2. You click on browse my computer. And then wherever you saved your file, which I would say either have a folder on your desktop or from your desktop, you're going to click on that. I'm just going to click this screenshot. And then it's going to say that here. And then you're going to go and you're going to submit. Now, I'm not going to submit because I'm not a student. I'm going to lower your hand for a moment, David. I'll get the questions after. You're going to submit and the submission should go through. Okay. This is the way that we would do that. Now, I've heard that on the phone, the app works. Sometimes it doesn't. If you want to get a device from Kingsborough, I do believe they're still giving out devices. So I'm going to let you know that. And this is the same way that you would do this for your homework. So I'm just letting you guys know. So that's basically it. I will be available throughout the entire night. On the night of your exam, we're not going to meet on Zoom, but I will be available for you guys for whatever, issues you may run into. So let me go with questions now. I'm just going to start to get the review open. I'm going to go with David, you in a minute, but Sabrina was waiting for me first about the test stuff. So let me get Sabrina, then I'm going to get David, and then whoever else needs me. So Sabrina, I'm yours when you're ready, and then I'll go to the rest.
Okay, I guess you answered my question regarding the test for now.
Okay.
But for the division problem, I just have one question. Will the remainder ever be a negative?
No.
Okay.
Yes, it could be.
Oh,
Excuse
okay.
me, it could be. So let me not say no, we haven't seen one that's negative, I don't think, but understand that it could be negative. So my apologies in saying no right away. Yes, it can be. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. David, I thank you for being patient. Go ahead.
I just wanted to know, did you receive my,
Anything personal about stuff being received and whatnot, I will answer either before 8:10 or after class. So if you don't want
Alright.
me staying on, I'm more than happy to confirm that for you and anyone else. Absolutely. Takes me 2 seconds. Or if you guys are working and I remember, I will just give you verbal confirmation, okay? But thank you. Anyone else before we rock and roll? Maria, then Julia?
I just wanted to ask, I know we're gonna go through this review sheet right now, but can you also post something different that we can exercise over the spring break?
Anything more than this?
Yeah.
There's more than enough material here for you to practice.
So we're not gonna go through this tonight.
I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna post the answers for this as well. I'm not gonna not post this. I'm gonna go over it right this minute.
Yeah, I just
I'm
wanted
not
to
sure what you're
have-
asking me.
yeah, I just wanted to know if you can make one more different
I'm
than
not
this.
gonna make another one because there's more than enough here for you. But if you have any questions regarding any of these, I can answer those, okay?
Okay,
There's
thank
quite
you.
enough material here between class notes, homework, and stuff like that for you to review, to be honest, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Julia?
Where exactly we need to go to start the test? It's
You
going to
will
be in
see
a test?
I'm sorry, thank you that's a great question. On Blackboard, on the left side, it says tests. I think it says tests. You will be able to click that right now. You cannot see the test because I made it unavailable. It will be available on Monday, the night you're taking the test.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, guys, let's proceed. Indira, go ahead.
Really quick question. So we'll be able to see it and we can use our notebook to write the answers,
Yes.
or I can, because the review questions, for instance, I printed it out and I have it in front of me. It wouldn't be that way,
No,
correct?
so you don't have to print the test. You would just write down your work. So you would write down, like, if this was a piece of paper, I'm just gonna make it up. Number 1, all your work. Number 2, blah, blah, blah. Number
Okay.
3, yeah, like that. By the way, I know you guys are home and I trust you guys. I don't love remote learning. I am not one of the professors who makes your camera on you when I'm teaching, nor do I make you guys. Indira, I hope that answered you, by the way.
Yeah, it answered the question.
Okay, so I just want to let you guys know, I understand that we're not working in normal circumstances. So you guys are on an honor system. You're not allowed to use calculators. You really shouldn't have your notes out. You shouldn't have a friend helping you. But I can't monitor that. So let me just say a couple of things in my opinion of being a teacher in a remote setting, both in high school and college. If they decide to give a final in person, I'm not accusing anyone in here, nor do I think any of you would do this, but I'm just we're all human and I get it. If they make you come in for the final and you're not taking this, this seriously by doing this the fair way, that's going to hurt you when that happens. But more importantly, this class is a class that segues into a credit bearing class that you will need. And if I was going to be a guessing person, I'm going to say that classes are going to start to go back in person at some point. I don't know anything more than you guys, but you're only going to hurt yourself. I'm here to assist you. Sorry about the sirens. But just understand, please, we're on an honor system. So I'm just going to beg you guys, do the best that you can. I'm here to support you. If you want to reach out to me during the break, I'm here for you. So I'm just going to let you know, because I'm going to be honest with you. The biggest cheaters right now, I love my kids at school. Oh, they are just using all these different apps and stuff across the board in all the schools. And I tell them it's going to hurt you in the long run. So again, I'm sorry for the teacher spiel. I promise I'll shut up now, but I just want to be honest. Okay. Most of these questions are all 5 multiple choice. My test is only 4 answer choices. So I made the review a little more interesting, but number 1 is obviously not a multiple choice, but my exam and the final is. So guys, I'm gonna not have enough space, so I'm gonna write all the answers down here with the work. So this would be what you would do for the exam. I took pictures, so just bear with me as I open these. So there are 25 questions. No, there are more than that. I'm gonna do 5 questions at a time, and then I'll stop for any questions that you guys may have. So like always, I will ask you guys to please just wait until I open up for questions, and then I'm all yours. So the first question asks you to find both the multiplicative and the additive inverse of the following fraction. So the fraction is -4. Sorry, I'm looking down at my phone at the pictures. So if you think I'm looking at my leg, I'm not. And 2/7. So the additive inverse is going to always be the opposite sign. So the additive inverse would be 4 and 2/7. The multiplicative inverse, we would have to first first convert to an improper fraction. An improper fraction. I'm not an English teacher. So -4 and 2/7 7 times 4 plus 2, you guys should know this from before, over the original denominator. You're then going to take the reciprocal, which means you're going to flip the fraction, and the answer would be -7 over 30. Okay, so the additive inverse would be 4 over and 2 over 7. The multiplicative inverse, we take the fraction and change it into an improper. And then we are going to take the reciprocal. Remember, the reciprocal always follows the same sign. I'm going to wait for questions, Maria. Please bear with me in the rules here if you don't mind. I will answer questions after. Which number is an integer? So let me write down which each of these are. So 1/3 is a fraction. So that is not an integer. -4.91 is a decimal. So that is not an integer. Letter C is a whole number that is positive. So the answer is C. It is an integer. Letter D is going to be pi. We already know this is not an integer. It's an irrational 3.14 forever and ever. And E is going to be 13 over 36, which is a fraction. I'm going to add a little bit to this because I really like you guys. So A, B, C, and E are all considered rational. D is considered irrational. So I'm just going to let you guys write that down. Okay, I'm getting the next question. I'm just going to wait a minute. And I know the question didn't ask that. Okay, for number 3, and again, I'm going to open up for questions after number 5. Number 3 is which number is irrational? So 7 is rational. It is also an integer. 2.86 with the bar over it is a repeating decimal. That is considered rational. 9 is an integer. Sorry, I got to look at my phone. This is also considered rational. I just figured this would help you guys. D is obviously irrational, so that is our answer. And E is oh, I'm sorry. Did I look at the wrong one? No. I looked at the wrong one for sorry about that. I screwed this up. I was zoomed in. For this question on E, I apologize. For number 2, it was -9 over 7, was it? Yeah, it's still a fraction and it's still rational. I just wrote the wrong one there because I was zoomed in. I looked at the wrong question. This was 13 over 36, which is a fraction, and all fractions are rational. So the answer to number 3 was D. I apologize about that. Number 4 is 7 minus 8 minus 12 in the parentheses, so a little PEMDAS. We're going to do what's in the parentheses first. 7 minus -4 is 11. And that is our final answer. And then another PEMDAS question, 4 plus 2. I like to put the dot outside the parentheses. You guys know that. So, oh, and by the way, for number 4, the answer was B. I forgot this is multiple choice. For number 5, we're going to do what's in the parentheses first. So that would be 9 minus 5. Then we're going to have 4. Notice the dot so I don't forget about the parentheses. Okay. Then I'm going to get 2 times 4, which is 8. And -4 plus 8, which is +4. And the answer to that question would be C. Okay, so this is my pause after 5, Maria, and then anyone else? Did you need me?
Yeah, I forgot what I wanted to ask.
Okay, so do
Sorry.
me a favor, and this goes for anyone. I want to keep the flow going here. So I'm going to ask you to write down any questions you have as I go over them until I open up. That way you guys don't forget. If you remember when I pause on the next round,
I remember, sorry.
okay, then
So
Julia will come next. Go ahead.
so with the first problem that we had, the multiple the inverse, yeah.
Multiplicative.
Yeah, does the sign change when we do a multiplicative inverse?
No,
or-
multiplicative inverse is the reciprocal. Reciprocals follow the same sign. So for this example, since it was negative, the multiplicative inverse would be negative. If it's positive, then the multiplicative inverse would be positive as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, my next problem, Julia, and then my next problems, go ahead.
I have a question. Do you need in a test show up the work, like for example, in number 4, which like,
So for,
do you need,
let me, that's a good question. For questions that don't require work, you don't have to show work. But if they do if they do require some work, I'll just say, please show it. How much you want to show, make sure that it's justifiable, because the math department can say, it's not so much that I'm going to get on you, but I'm just preparing you for what might happen on the final. So if the final is given remote, the math department may say, this student didn't submit any work, we're not going to give them credit. So I'm just going to be honest there. Just show as much work as you think is required. Okay? Anyone else before I do the next 5? Okay. So like for number 6, obviously you guys can't really show much work for number 6. So I'm going to state which ones are true. Letter A is false. 1 is not more than 7. B is true. -3 is less than 2. I don't think I asked one of these on your test, but never say never. C, 0 is not less than -4. D, -19 is not more than -2. And E, 6 is not less than -6. So the answer to 6 was B. Number 7, so 7 is A times B squared minus 3. A equals -3, B equals +1. So we're going to substitute A as -3, B is +1 squared minus 3. So we have -3 times 1 minus 3 in the parentheses. 1 minus 3 is -2. And we get an answer of 6. I keep forgetting this is multiple choice. So the answer there is B. Number 8, they told us X is 0 and Y is -2. So 4 times 0 minus 3 times -2. 6 times 0 plus -2. Anything times 0 is just 0. So the top I will get 6, the bottom I get -2. The answer here is -3. That would be choice D. Number 9, x cubed times x to the 4th. We know we add the exponents, we get x to the 7th. So that would be C. 10 y to the 19 over y to the 14 is y to the 5, which is choice B. Okay, so coming up in a moment will be 11 through 15. I'll pause for any questions and or for you guys to just get a breath in here. Okay,
Number 7, I'm sorry.
yeah. What about it?
Oh, what was number 7, the answer? Is
Oh, I'm
it
sorry.
6?
I thought you asked me for something I wrote. I'm so sorry. So for
It's okay.
number 7, the answer was, what did I write on the screen? 6, so B?
Oh, that's the answer. Okay.
Yeah, I'm putting, you know what, I should put it like this. Sorry. That way it'll be a little more differentiated. And then for, what other one did you ask me? For number 6 was D. Like dog.
6 was B as in boy.
D like dog. B like boy. B like boy. I
Oh,
don't know why
okay.
I circled those. I have no clue why I did that. So that could be why you're so confused. So it's B like boy. Yes, it is. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry about that. Okay, number 11 through 15 coming up. So 11 is going to be x to the 12th raised to the 4. When we raise a power to a power, we multiply. We got 48 up in there, so that's going to be A. My screen is so blurry, so it's hard to see. 12, 3, A to the 7, and B to the -6. So again, in order for something to be considered simplified, you don't want to have any negative exponents. So the B to the 6 will simply flip in the bottom. That's going to be choice, I think it's E. That looks like that's right, E. Okay. 13. So we're about halfway through the review. X to the 6th, I definitely put a question like this on your test. You see, I like you guys. So we would first raise the powers to the powers. So we're going to raise x to the 2 to the -4 and y to the 3 to the -4. And then don't forget we have the x to the 6th. We're going to multiply the x to the 6th and the x to the 8, giving us x to the 2 and then y to the -12. Now, I remember a lot of you guys being somewhat confused with this on Monday. So remember that these both have to go in the bottom because they're both negative, but if there's nothing left on top, a 1 goes up there. And so the answer to this question is D. Okay, let me do 14 and 15 before any questions. 14 is a to the -2, b to the 3, a to the -9, b to the 8. So we're going to subtract the exponents from top to bottom. A to the -2 minus -9 and b to the 3 minus 8. So a to the -2 minus 9 is a to the +7. B to the 3 minus 8 is b to the -5. I am not allowed to have any negative exponents, so the b to the 5 will flip into the bottom. And the answer here is B like boy. 7 over 4x to the 5 raised to the 2nd power. So I'm just going to give people a minute. Okay. 7 raised to the 2 is 49. 4 raised to the 2 is 16. So remember, everything is going to get raised to the power. And we are left with 49 over 16x to the 10th power, which is going to be choice C. Okay, so I'm open for questions on those. Okay, we're going to do 16 through 20 in a minute. I may need to take a picture. Let me see. Yeah, I do need to take a picture of 16 through 20. Julie, I can answer your question while I just get a quick picture of this because I didn't take these.
Can you go through the 13 one more time, please?
Absolutely. Let me just finish
This-
taking my pictures of the questions and then I will do 13 for you again. 13, yes. Okay, I could do 13 again. Absolutely. So, okay. I love this app I have. This is, by the way, called Notability. Notability, if any of you guys are interested. It's a pretty cool app. Anyway, so Julia, we're going to distribute the -4 because we're raising each one to the power that's in the parentheses. So we're going to have x to the -8 and y to the -12. With me so far?
On the lessons, I do believe we reversed the fracture and it was like 1 to
You can
x.
do that too. You can do that too. That's another, absolutely. I'll do it both ways. I didn't do both ways just because a lot of people like to do that, but I do remember that I did say if a fraction's exponent is negative, we put it in the bottom. Let me finish with this way and I'll do it a second way for you. So this is x to the -2, not -6, x to the -2, y to the -12, and they both flip in the bottom. For what you're asking me, let me do this in green so you guys don't get confused. So what you're asking me to do, I'm just going to make some room here. I'll just rewrite 15 in a minute, is the following. So because the fraction's exponent is negative, we're going to leave the x to the 6 on top, and we're going to flip this in the bottom, and the 4 becomes positive. Okay, so this is another way of doing that. Absolutely, it is. Sometimes, by the way, and I'll just say, in math, there are multiple ways of doing things. So just FYI. They're going to now raise each one to the power. So x to the 6th over x to the 8th and y to the 12th. I'm going to subtract my x to the 6th minus 8 because we're dividing. So the base is being divided. Oh, sorry. So let me just do that part. Let me not confuse you. I'll just do it on the side here. So this is x to the -2 over y to the +12. I should do that. And then, of course, because the x to the 2 is negative, we'll flip it into the bottom and it becomes positive and we put the 1 there. So Julia, hopefully that now helps, because I do remember I said that several times.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, is that what you were referring to?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yep. And you can see the nice part about math is there are multiple ways of doing it, doing the problem. I don't know what that answer choice was. I lost it, by the way. It was D. So I just want to make sure I have that. And let me just rewrite this one for you guys. And then if I thought I saw another hand, so if somebody else needed me, if not, I'm going to start 16 up. All right, the next 5 are coming up. 16. So again, you could do this both ways. So let me do this both ways now. So you guys can pick, I like to say, pick your poison. Pick the way that you think is best for you. I'll do both ways. So let me start with Julia's mention first. So because this exponent is negative, we can flip it in the bottom. So this will stay on top and this will come on into the bottom and the exponent is positive. Well, ladies and gents, anything raised to the 0 is 1. So the entire numerator is 1. M to the 9 and n to the -6 when you distribute that exponent. We are then going to notice that the n to the 6th is negative. So we flip it into the top and it becomes positive. And the answer will be n to the 6th on top and m to the 9th on the bottom, which is choice D. As an alternative method, you could have raised everything to the -3rd power right away. So again, this whole thing is 1. I'm just going to write that to save time. This would become m to the -9 and n to the +6. The n to the 6 would stay on top and the m to the 9 would go on the bottom. So as you can see, you're going to get the exact same answer regardless of how you went about this. U to the -4, V to the, I have to zoom in, V to the -3, W to the 0. By the way, anytime I see something to the 0, I automatically just cross it out because I know it's 1. So U to the 0 down here, V to the 8, and W to the -9. So so I would start by rewriting U to the -4. On the side, I'm going to do V to the -3 minus 8 because we will subtract. And I get V to the -11. And on the bottom, I have a W to the -9. So this is just some side work to subtract these two things. Now I will, Maria, again, I'm not open for questions yet. Now I'm going to place things where they are appropriate. So W to the 9 on top, U to the 4, V to the 11 on the bottom. I don't know what answer choice this is. Let me scroll through them. I believe that's D if you match it up. Okay, 18. So now we're getting into the newer stuff. So this is all from lesson 3, which is the polynomial operations. Because there is a plus here, we can drop the parentheses right away. And then we will combine our like terms. 2a squared plus 4a minus 22. Choice E. Okay, 19 and 20, and then I'll open for questions. -6a plus 9b minus 7a minus 12b. Now remember that when you have subtraction, you are going to distribute that negative into each one. So we will end up with a minus 7a plus a 12b, which is -13a plus 21b. That is going to be choice letter B. Finally, 20, and then I'll pause and then we'll do the last few. So 20 is going to be 6x squared minus 4y squared. And then again, right away, you should say, oh, wow, I have a subtraction. So I will distribute. So the only time that we distribute is when it's a subtraction. The 3x squared becomes negative, the xy becomes positive, the y squared becomes negative. 6x squared and 3x squared are like terms. Negative 4y squared and another y squared are like terms. And there is only one xy. This might be a little out of order, and this is what I was talking about earlier, so you would just match this up. So 3xy plus xy minus 5y squared would be choice A, I believe. Yes. Okay, questions at this point, please? Any questions? All right, I'll pause if anyone needs to.
Can you scroll up just a little bit to
What question?
17,
Right there.
from
You
17
got it.
down?
Yep,
Thank you.
you're welcome. I'm gonna give you guys a few moments, by the way. For this last round, I am going to, whatchamacallit? I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I am gonna do all 7 just so I don't break, and then anything you guys need. Let's see where we are on time. I may delay just even starting lesson 5. We'll see. Guys, my calendar that I have is a very rigid one, so it is subject to change. Maybe starting something new might not be beneficial. Let's just see how things go. Marianne, did you need me to go down a little more? Scroll down. I'm not sure. Anyone else with anything? Okay, I'm just going to start to write the next one. Okay, now we're getting into the multiplication. So this will be the operation better known as the distributive property. 15x cubed y squared, 10x squared y cubed, minus 20xy to the 4th power. The most annoying part is finding, matching this up, so I totally get it. So this looks like it's going to be choice D. The next one is FOIL, or the distribution of the first term of each into the second binomial. So 56a squared minus 16a plus 21a. So right now I know my middle term. Oh, I'm sorry, AB. Sorry, that's an AB and an AB. Sorry about that. Minus 6b squared. So here's a test taking strategy, guys. If I have 56a to the second and minus 6b to the second on the outside, any choices that don't look like that can be eliminated. Obviously, all of them have that except choice B, but now you give yourself a better shot. The middle terms will combine to a 5AB. And so the final answer is going to be choice D. Choice D. Oh, sorry. Let me just leave that a moment. 23 is a binomial squared. So the binomial will be times itself. 16x squared. By the way, that now eliminates choice E. Minus 12x minus 12x plus 9. So I know I want something that ends in positive 9. So that already gives me choices only A and B. So you see what I'm doing? Middle terms combine to a 24x plus 9. So the answer here is going to be B. So you can do that when you're taking a test. That's why people love multiple choice. Okay, 24, we're almost there. 2x minus 7. And then we have x squared plus 3x minus 5. So this is going to be 2x to the 3rd, distributing each one, plus 6x squared minus 10x minus 7x squared minus 21x plus 35. Okay, so I know I need something that starts with 2x cubed and ends with 35, and pretty much all of them do except B. 2x cubed minus x squared minus 31x plus 35. And that is going to be choice, looks like choice E. 25, so there are 4 more, and then I'll stop. Obviously, I'll be done. 42, x to the 8, y to the 11, negative 7, x to the 6, y to the 3. So I'm going to get negative 6x squared y to the 8th, because this is just division straight down and subtracting the exponents. So this will be choice A. 26 and 27 remaining. So 27, this is on a new page. 26 is negative 18, a to the 2, b to the 5. So I'm going to do this separation because it's multiple terms divided by a single term. We should recognize that by now. So guys, there is really no surprises here. So I'm going to get 9, the a squareds cancel, b squared. A negative divided into a positive is a negative. A to the 7th, b to the 4th. So that is going to be choice C. I guess I only gave you 4 choices there. Okay. And last but not least is going to be 27. So x plus 7. This is long division again. And if you notice, there are no missing terms in this expression. So we're going to have 3x squared divided by x, which is 3x. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 7 is 21x. Negate, negate. So those middle terms are now gone. Negative 25x, and I'm going to bring down the 5. Negative 5. Negative 25x divided by x is negative 25. Okay, negative 25 times x is negative 25x, which is what we wanted. This is a very large number, negative 175. Okay, negate, negate, and the answer's remainder is 170. So we are going to have 3x minus 25, remainder 170. All right, so there is your review. I'm open for questions at this point that you guys might have.
Professor, can you repeat one more time, answer the question for 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, I forgot to also give this choice. So this was choice B. Okay, so what you needed 1, 2, 3?
Yes, because I missed this. Thank you.
Yes, and I'm also going to post this just as a reminder for everyone. Oops, sorry, but there it is. I'm debating starting lesson number 5 or not. Part of me wants to, and part of me wants to leave you guys alone. I think we can delay 5 after break. Are you guys going to be mad if I do that? I'm sure you're all going to fight me on it. I think for the first exam, just knowing this might be good. So you guys are clapping. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. If you think you're okay and you want to go, I've been keeping you guys late, so I will let you go at this point. This is a one-shot deal. I want to wish you all a very nice break. If you need me for anything, I'm available. I'll grade your homeworks and I will post all of this stuff tomorrow morning. Please study. The exam again will be that Monday. And then that Wednesday, we will start fresh. But I'm going to say I may keep you a little later because I definitely want to get 5 and then part of 6 in there. So if that sounds okay with everyone, I will let you go if you don't need me. If you do want to stay on and you need any clarification, I'll say that would be a good idea. So let's do that. So if you're leaving, have a good night. If you're staying on, stay on. And I'm just going to go in the order I see hands. Deanna, you're my first.
Can you just reiterate how do we access the quiz again for Monday?
So the test on the 5th.
I mean the test, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'm just correcting because I'm nuts. Under course content on the left side on Blackboard, you should see tests. If you want to go on Blackboard, you can look. And then right now you're not going to see anything, but I'm going to let you know that on test day that will be available, and then you will just click on the link.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yes.
Awesome. David, I know you were waiting for me. Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
David, you're good to go. I just checked.
All right, thank you.
And by the way,
can,
the
I'll
papers,
email you.
okay, unless you want to stay on, you can email me. Up to you. I will say,
Esther, can you scroll down
Thank you.
yeah. All
to
the
the
way,
last, to 26 and 27?
there you
Thank you.
go. David, you can email me if you're still here. Anyone else need me still?
Yeah, Professor.
Go ahead, Irina.
So when we open our test, we can pick the question on the computer, yeah? But could I make like on my paper?
Yes,
answer
yes.
And
you
took
can-
a photo
You're going
and
to,
submit.
you're going to answer the questions on the computer, but you are going to upload your work on Blackboard that justifies your answers.
So
So-
I can just write with my hand.
No, you have to click on the answers as well.
I can click the answers, yeah?
You're gonna see it pop up. It's multiple choice.
Ah,
Yep.
ah,
you can see the
okay.
question and the answer. Yep, you will see it. I
So
put-
when we open our test, the
will see it.
timer is start 1 hour and 50 minutes, yeah?
Yep, and then you can upload your work when you're done.
Ah, okay, thank you, I
Okay?
got it.
Don't upload
Yeah,
your work
because
as you're doing it. It's
I
when
was
you're done.
confused about it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome,
Okay.
Irina. Have a good break.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye. I'm just waiting in order for hands, guys, so you let me know. Okay, I'm here if you need me. I'm gonna stay on as long as you guys need me.
Professor,
Yes, I'm
can
listening.
we do number 17 again, please?
Can I do it?
17.
Sure. Let me find a little space to do 17. So what I'm gonna do is if any of you guys were writing, I'll come back to that. Let me just do it on a separate page and then I'll come back. And again, I'm gonna upload that for you guys. 17, let me just grab the question again. 17 is u to the negative 4. I apologize if anybody was just writing. I will put that back up. So please, I'm so sorry if you were writing and I messed up your flow there. I'll put that back. So I don't know who's asking this question. Who is asking me, just so I know?
It's me.
Okay, so with this question, the W to the 0 and the U to the 0 are both 1. Is it Anzella?
Yes.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, it's one.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
So now we have U to the negative 4, V to the negative 3 on the top, V to the negative 8 on the bottom, and W to the negative 9. Now, the U to the 4, I can't do anything with, but the V to the negative 3 and the V to the negative 8, I'm going to subtract the exponents, and I get V to the negative 11. And then on the bottom, I have a W to the negative 9, and that's it. So anything that's negative goes in the opposite part. So this will go in the bottom and become positive. This will go in the bottom and become positive. This will go in the top and become positive.
Mm-hmm.
So you let me know. I'm going to put that other page up in a moment if anybody's still waiting. I do appreciate you guys being patient in that venture. Is that okay?
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Victoria?
Yes, Professor. I have a question. I did some practice and there was some exercise from the book. Can you see this one?
Let me, you know what? Can I grab my textbook and you can give, is it the textbook from?
Yes.
Let me grab it from my bag and I'll look with you. So hold on. If anyone's still waiting, I'll be right there. So hold on.
Exercise.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm back. What page is it from?
Wait a second. Now I gotta look for it.
By the way, this textbook, some of these questions, I'm not discouraging you at all, of course, but some of these questions are very intense. I'm just letting you know that so you don't get too.
Okay, so it's page 45.
Okay.
And it's 117.
117?
117, right?
Okay, let me open a new page here because I don't want to put this on the review and then people go, where did that come from? So m to the 7th over 8n to the 3, and then it's raised to the 2. This is the question, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, a negative raised to an even exponent will become positive. So your
Mhm.
answer is going to be positive, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, so I'm ignoring the negative. M to the 7th raised to the 2 is m to the 14.
Okay.
8 raised to the 2 is 64.
Okay.
N raised to the 3 raised to the 2 is n to the 6th.
For some reason, right, that's what I got. And in answers, or maybe I made a mistake, you know?
But it's okay. So I'm gonna be honest, I did not write this textbook. Just to be completely and utterly honest with you. So I don't know if you want to go and look for I don't know exactly where this even is in the book, but if you want to go look for that, that is the answer. So I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Thank you.